Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. As you can probably hear, I'm a little full of cold, so if you disagree with my takes, that's probably why. Today we're going to be doing a video on why Hans Sammer makes sense for G2, and why I think, honestly, he might be the perfect fit. So obviously, before we get into about him versus Flakked, we've got to talk about Hans Sammer as a player and G2. We'll start off with what Hans Sammer as a player. So obviously, Hans Sammer is one of the top European players, top European ADCs, top European player in general. Obviously, he hasn't had the best recent form. I mean, on TL, he didn't look the best. But still, before that, you'd have put him top 3 AD carries in Europe, definitely. Maybe even first, which is where I'd have had him, personally. So there's a lot to back him off. And honestly, at TL, the only reason he struggled was his playstyle basically directly contradicted and counteracted the playstyle of JJ. I can't believe I'm forgetting my idol. Clearly, the crowd's affecting me more than I thought. So there's more reason to back him as a player than someone like Flakked in theory, because obviously Flakked is a rookie, and we'll get on to talking about Flakked, as I said, so we'll get on to that in a minute. And also his experience is a big plus for G2. I mean, he should be able to help aid the growth of Yike along with the other players, because the core of G2, there's 4 players, and they're all quite experienced, playing alongside Yike, who is obviously an up-and-coming European player, the top player from LFL last split, in my opinion. So there's a lot to back him on that sense. And also, with the experienced core of G2, it should be easier for him to bounce back, because there's 3 players who are all top players in their roles, who should be able to help encourage his form to come back, should give him confidence in scrims and stuff like that. And should be able to comfort him and make him feel comfortable on the team. Whereas Team Liquid, I don't think he ever looked comfortable. And part of that obviously would be Core JJ's style just being completely opposite to his. And this is another reason why G2 should probably, looking at him, is because Flakked struggled in some of the bigger games. I mean, he looked quite good at Worlds, but his form was often quite shaky, and he didn't necessarily step up against teams like Fnatic in the LEC. So, like, replacing him made some sense. I mean, personally, I wouldn't have dropped him. I'd have probably kept him. But then I backed him after his performance at the Iberian Cup, whereas many other people didn't. So perhaps I'm slightly biased, or perhaps I'm just overrating him a little bit. And obviously G2 have the desire to compete at Worlds. And so someone like Hans Sammer definitely makes sense. And maybe dropping Flakked kind of makes sense in that sense. That's a lot of senses. Because obviously, Flakked isn't that dependable, and I don't think he's got that higher ceiling. So maybe Hans makes some more sense for Worlds. But I don't know. We'll see. Let's get on to talking about Flakked and why Flakked was dropped. Flakked was definitely one of the better ADCs in the LEC. And in my opinion, he definitely deserved an LEC slot. So it's a little sad to see him at the Heretics Academy rather than the LEC, but I think Team Heretics are thinking that Jack Spectra might not be good enough, and in my opinion, it doesn't look good enough. So they might just promote him in his place. We'll have to see on that one. I think the reason G2 dropped him was because he's not dependable enough for international competition. He has definitely a level of potential, and I definitely could see him being a future decent top European ADC. But I don't know whether he'll be the best. I don't think he'll ever reach Hans's top peak level at Rogue, or where he's just able to look on par with some of the top Eastern ADCs. So I think that's the main reason. Obviously, there could be more. Let me know if you think there is more. But those are the reasons why I think Hans makes sense. I think especially pairing him with Mickey, I think that could be a very, very good pairing, as Mickey is very, very adaptable. So we'll have to see how G2 perform. I think they're going to be one of the top teams, and we'll get into that a bit more when we talk about later videos, such as tier lists for the LEC. So we'll get into that soon. Hope to see you then. The next video will be on Team Heretics as a roster, so we'll be talking about Flakked again. See you then. Bye.